People thought the royal family had already survived its worst scandals. But behind palace walls, whispers were growing louder, and this time, the name suddenly pulled into the spotlight was Princess Beatrice. At first, almost nobody believed it. The headlines sounded too dramatic. Social media exploded overnight with claims that newly surfaced court documents had revealed deeply uncomfortable royal secrets that allegedly connected powerful names, private meetings, and years of silence. And the moment those reports started spreading, many royal watchers noticed something strange. Beatrice, usually calm and private, suddenly disappeared from public attention. No major appearances. No statements. No quick response from royal insiders. Just silence. That silence only made people more curious. Because according to online speculation, the documents didn't just mention random royal gossip. They allegedly reopened conversations the monarchy has spent years trying to move beyond. Conversations tied to reputation, influence, and the fear that old controversies may never truly disappear. And for Beatrice, the timing could not have been worse. Over the last few years, she had carefully rebuilt her public image. Compared to the constant drama surrounding other royal figures, Beatrice was seen as one of the quieter members of the family. She focused on charity work, family life, and staying away from controversy. Many people even called her one of the least problematic royals. But now, suddenly, her name was being dragged into headlines she never asked for. The internet immediately split into two sides. One group insisted the media was exaggerating everything for clicks. They argued that simply appearing in documents or being connected through family relationships does not automatically prove wrongdoing. Supporters claimed Beatrice was unfairly being pulled into a storm created by actions far beyond her control. But others weren't convinced. Critics argued that the royal family has long benefited from silence, protection, and carefully managed narratives. They believe the public deserve transparency, especially when serious allegations or controversial associations are involved. And as more commentators joined the conversation, the pressure only intensified. Then came the real shock. Several royal commentators began questioning whether this controversy could quietly affect Beatrice's future role within the monarchy itself. While she is not a senior working royal, her public image still matters to the institution. And royal experts know one thing better than anyone. Perception is everything. Once public trust begins to crack, the palace moves very carefully. That's why many observers started analyzing every tiny detail. Why hadn't there been a stronger public response? Why were certain royal insiders suddenly refusing interviews? And why did it feel like everyone was trying to avoid mentioning Beatrice directly? Some even claimed palace advisors were deeply worried about the situation escalating internationally, especially online, where speculation spreads faster than facts. And honestly, that may be the biggest problem of all. In today's world, royal scandals don't stay inside newspapers anymore. A single headline can circle the globe in minutes. TikTok clips, YouTube breakdowns, viral tweets. Suddenly millions of people are debating stories before official statements even exist. That kind of pressure can completely change someone's life overnight. For Beatrice, the emotional impact is something many people forget. Imagine waking up and seeing your name attached to controversy across every platform, even if you personally did nothing wrong. The scrutiny alone would be overwhelming. Every photo gets analyzed. Every silence becomes suspicious. Every appearance turns into a headline. And according to royal insiders, this is exactly the kind of attention Beatrice has always tried to avoid. Unlike some royals who thrive in the spotlight, she has often appeared more reserved and protective of her private life. Friends close to royal circles have previously described her as someone who values stability and normalcy far more than media attention, which makes this entire situation even more explosive. Because now, people are asking questions the palace likely hoped would never return. Questions about accountability. Questions about connections. Questions about how much the public really knows about life behind royal gates. And every day the story continues trending, those questions grow louder. Some royal fans believe Beatrice will eventually move past this completely. They argue the internet creates outrage cycles that disappear as quickly as they arrive. In a few weeks, another scandal could dominate headlines, leaving this entire controversy behind. But others think the damage may already be done. Not necessarily legal damage, not official consequences, but reputational damage, the kind that follows public figures for years, even after headlines fade away. Because once doubt enters public conversation, it rarely disappears entirely. And perhaps the most uncomfortable part for the monarchy is this. Younger generations are no longer automatically protecting royal traditions the way older generations once did. People online are far more willing to question institutions, challenge narratives, and revisit old stories. That creates a level of pressure the royal family has never experienced before. Now the world is watching closely to see what happens next. Will Beatrice address the controversy directly? Will palace insiders finally respond publicly? Or will the royal strategy remain the same as always? Stay silent and hope the storm eventually passes? Right now, nobody truly knows. But one thing is certain. This story has reopened conversations the monarchy desperately wanted buried. And whether fair or unfair, Princess Beatrice has suddenly found herself caught directly in the center of it all. As the controversy kept spreading online, something else started happening behind the scenes. Royal analysts began revisiting old interviews, archived photographs, and past public appearances connected to the wider royal circle. Suddenly, moments that once seemed completely ordinary were being examined frame by millions of people online. And that's when the atmosphere around Beatrice became even more tense. Because once the internet senses uncertainty, speculation grows fast. YouTubers started posting breakdown videos claiming there was more to the story. TikTok creators stitched together old royal clips with dramatic music and captions. Comment sections exploded with theories ranging from believable concerns to completely wild accusations. The truth almost became secondary. What mattered was the momentum. And momentum is dangerous when public image is involved. Royal experts know that modern scandals don't always depend on official proof. Sometimes the perception alone becomes powerful enough to reshape how the public views someone forever. Once a name gets emotionally linked to controversy, separating fact from speculation becomes nearly impossible. That's why many observers believe palace advisors are watching this situation very carefully. Because the monarchy has spent years trying to modernize its image. After multiple difficult headlines involving different royal figures, the institution has worked hard to present stability, professionalism, and trust. Younger royals especially have been expected to avoid anything that could reopen public criticism. But now, all of that careful image management feels fragile again. And unfortunately for Beatrice, social media rarely cares about nuance. To many people online, guilt by association spreads instantly. If someone's name appears anywhere near controversy, the internet often rushes to conclusions before full context even emerges. That creates an impossible situation for public figures trying to protect their reputation. Some commentators even suggested Beatrice may feel personally frustrated by how quickly her name became central to discussions she never directly created. Others believe she may be deeply hurt watching years of carefully built goodwill suddenly collapse under online pressure. And perhaps the palace underestimated just how emotional public reactions would become. Because this story didn't only trigger curiosity, it triggered anger. Many critics argued that ordinary people face intense scrutiny every day, while powerful institutions often avoid difficult questions. They claim the public is becoming less willing to accept silence as an answer. In their view, avoiding transparency only fuels suspicion. Meanwhile, royal supporters pushed back hard. They warned against turning speculation into assumed truth and argued that social media has created a culture where accusations spread faster than evidence. Some fans even described the treatment of Beatrice as unfair and emotionally cruel, especially considering she has largely avoided public controversy throughout her life. The debate became incredibly divided. And while people argued online, palace silence continued. No dramatic press conference. No emotional television interview. No major public denial. Just carefully controlled appearances and a growing feeling that something serious was unfolding behind closed doors. That silence may actually be strategic. Historically, the royal family has often relied on patience during scandals. Palace advisors understand that direct responses can sometimes make controversies even bigger. By refusing to publicly engage, they may hope attention eventually shifts elsewhere. But this situation feels different to many observers. Because unlike older royal scandals controlled mainly by newspapers, today's internet never truly stops talking. Stories keep resurfacing. Clips get reposted. New creators discover old headlines and push them viral all over again, which means the pressure surrounding Beatrice may not disappear anytime soon. Some insiders even speculate this controversy